welcome to another episode of Hard Factor, presented by the Barstool News Network. It is Tuesday, April 7th. Is that right?
Yeah, that's it.
I think so. Yeah, it's really getting hard to keep track of the days at this point. April 7th, Tuesday, April 7th, 2020. This is our 18th podcast since we started the Hard Factor self-imposed lockdown. We're doing our part to slow the spread here at the Barstool News Network. Today, we've got more updates from the UK, China, sex stories, cigarette stories, pandas, mascots, and much more. So, Wes, get us going.
All right, guys, the big news of the day, our boy Boris, Prime Minister, Playboy, and expecting father, Boris Johnson, is in some serious trouble. So yesterday we covered he was admitted to the hospital for persistent fever from the coronavirus, a move which we were all kind of hoping was just a light precautionary thing to run some tests, maybe keep him in the best care possible, has turned into a more serious matter now as he has been moved to the intensive care unit and is not quite fighting for his life yet, but is, you know, they're keeping a close eye.
It's got to be pretty bad because, like, it was weird. He tweeted, like, as he was getting transferred, like, don't worry, I'll be fine.
No, I think it escalated. I think he tweeted like 4 hours before he got transferred to the ICU. And there were some pretty bad reports out there. They were saying, like, 80% breathing help. There was some talk about ventilator, which... Ventilator means 20% chance of life at this point, according to most people. So
really, so that's when you know it's interesting how it affects different people differently. Everybody's got, you know, it seems it really hit some folks harder.
Well, at the time of this recording, he's still awake and has not been intubated yet, which is where they put the tube in your throat for breathing, and he's not on the ventilator. But he's been moved there because that's where the ventilators are, so they can get him on one as quickly as possible if he does need it. Dominic Raab, the first Secretary of State, has taken over all government responsibilities, so he's basically acting prime minister right now in lieu of Boris.
He was deputized by Boris Johnson, which is also not good.
Yeah, no, it's not
good. This
good.
is like when Reagan got shot. Remember, he got shot by that Hinckley guy?
Yes.
And Bush, once, when I forget he was going under surgery, then I think he had to give the power to Cheney when he was under surgery. Kind of situation.
Yeah, it's scary. I mean, it doesn't look good. I mean, hopefully, you know, the things turn around by the time this airs. But his fiancee, Carrie Simons, who again is pregnant with their first child, is at home recovering from coronavirus herself. Very worried. President Trump again weighed in on his buddy's condition, saying, we're very saddened to hear that Johnson was taken to intensive care this afternoon a little while ago, and Americans are all praying for his recovery. He's been a really good friend. He's been really something very special, strong, resolute, doesn't quit, doesn't give up. President Trump is also asking some companies that apparently have some corona treatments that everyone needs, but only really important people get, to head to London immediately, saying they've really advanced therapeutics and they have arrived in London already. The London office has whatever they need. We'll see if we can be of help. We've contacted all of Boris's doctors, and we'll see what's going to take place. But they are ready to go.
I mean, something tells me they have what they need for him in England, probably.
Of course they do. It's nice of Trump to offer help, but I mean, this kind of shows, and hopefully he gets better, but this kind of shows, and also we don't know what he's like this morning when you're listening to this. We did this
and people come back from this thing. There's a lot of stories. I mean, the
100-year-old people.
Right. There's like all kinds of mixed bags about, if you read the personal stories about people who have either gone through it and had like loved ones close to them die, or they themselves got sick and came close but made it through. Like, there's all kinds of different stories. Some people don't have any symptoms at all. Some people, it's terrible.
ICU does not mean death. I was in the ICU for 72 hours. A lot of people in the ICU were surviving. A lot of people in the ICU survived, but the ventilator's the key thing for COVID-19.
The real bad sign.
That's the bad sign. This kind of shows that, this fucking pandemic doesn't care, like doesn't discriminate, like in modern medicine really isn't there yet for it, doesn't seem like. So
that's what I was saying yesterday. You know, everyone, even these high profile people that everyone says, you know, oh, they probably have a cure for them. Nope, they don't.
I mean, the cure is staying home and stopping the spread, basically.
But
not catching it and not having underlying conditions.
So hopefully he does recover, and if he does, they need to give whatever the fuck they gave him to everyone else as soon as possible. It's kind of like it would be kind of a real like Magic Johnson HIV scenario that might be playing playing out here in front of people. So we will see.
I think they're just going to do what they would do to anyone, which is like, your body hopefully will fight it off, but they're just going to intubate him probably. That's the worst case. And then allow him.
Yeah, the only one advantage he has, though, Pat, is best doctors 24-hour care. Like,
absolutely,
they're watching
but I think,
him.
I think that's the thing about this virus.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, you can't do anything about it. If your immune system don't want to fight it, it ain't gonna fight it. And if you're not healthy enough to fight it,
it's like you drown, your lungs drown. Go ahead.
The point, Mark, your point, and you might be about to say that, but your point about people watching him 24/7 is huge because a lot of people they basically stop breathing in their sleep.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like he will get a chance to go to the ventilator if he needs to go to the ventilator, where a lot of people don't, because they'll be watching him.
Yeah, and there's new reports, pretty much on the hour about new medicines that they're trying, and it might work, might not work for old SARS and old, coronavirus stuff. So hopefully one of them, takes off soon. But in some uplifting news out of the UK, Miss England, Basha Mukherjee, I'm probably butchering that. Andrew Parker, you can help me out there. Who was
you
also
must have said it correctly.
I must have.
That sounds
yeah.
Why
rolls off the tongue.
Mukherjee.
Miss England. Miss England, right, yeah.
Mukherjee.
Mukherjee.
Basha Mukherjee.
Basha Mukherjee. I think that's right. Basha Mukherjee.
I don't think that's...
Anyway, Andrew will tell us. Who's also a doctor, has returned to the UK from doing her worldwide charity work as Miss England to help out the NHS and return to saving lives. She said she made the decision after talking to colleagues and listening to their stories of how hard things were, and just didn't feel right romping around in her crown, knowing she could be doing more at home, especially since she specializes in respiratory medicine.
Oh, so, there you go.
Yeah, pretty.
Well, I mean, like, even if you're like, if she's the last face you see, not bad, right? Like she's
a good-looking lady.
Yeah.
And
well, I was going to ask about
for Miss England, good teeth too. Not something you expect out of Miss England.
Do you think they'll put her on Boris's detail? Can she?
No, I don't think so.
That was where she excelled, Pat. The teeth round.
Oh man,
the smile round.
If you have a decent set of chompers, you're already in the finals when you're in the Miss England competition.
Right. So quoting Miss England, when you are doing all this humanitarian work abroad, you're still expected to put the crown on. Get ready, look pretty. I want to come back home. I want to come and go straight to work. She has to quarantine for 2 weeks before she can officially return to doctoring because she was returning from fucking India, of all places. And I don't know if that's where she's from, but I mean this is great. But what do you guys think? You trust rusty Miss England with your life if you're a patient, or is she going to be a distraction?
Sure.
Yeah. Sure.
Well, I mean, come on, you're not going to turn that down.
No,
no matter how sick you are.
Patch Adams? Did you see Patch Adams, Wes? Laughter and things that are uplifting to the spirit can help fight viruses. So
that's what
true.
I mean. It might be some instant turnarounds when someone wakes up and sees
it also
her.
could have the opposite effect if you have a really beautiful woman in front of you, like a model, and you're like, I'll just never get with anything like this, and you just let it go. You just
you might think you're in
crumble
heaven.
under the pressure.
You might think you're already in heaven, so you just let it go.
There you go. Okay, I'll get behind the Patch
Be
Adams
careful
theory.
out there, Miss England.
Yeah.
So that's good for her. But yeah, that's what's going on in the UK right now. Still trying to save Boris over there.
Okay.
Crazy. Well, good. We're wishing Boris luck. So pretty sure that at this point of the lockdown, every person on social media has at one point or another posted about what they're going to do once the lockdown ends. Right now in America, we're still at the peak of the outbreak. With more social distancing, hand washing, stimulus packages, blah, 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 on the way at least through the end of April. But, what have you guys thought about doing when the lockdown finally ends? What are you going to do? What's your move?
I'm going to go to Costco as much as I possibly can.
I'm excited to get served. I want to go sit down at a nice restaurant and just get properly served.
Nice.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Big-ass meal.
Probably going to use some of the airline credits I've racked up in the past month to go somewhere.
All good, yeah. Travel, restaurants, shopping. Well, you guys hit it on the head. With lockdown already ending in much of China, we can get a glimpse of what it's going to look like in reality once the lockdown ends in America. And it is big crowds at all the places you just mentioned. Reports of this last weekend in China is that public parks, restaurants, retail shops were just packed over the whole country wherever the lockdowns ended. And most people were trying to wear masks in the pictures I saw, but it was impossible to stand 6 feet apart from other people in most places. They haven't opened places like,
Isn't that still dangerous?
They're worried. And we got some stats coming up, but
They look like they were all touching. Like,
yes,
they were
at the
all
park,
connected by skin.
At the park where they had to shut down because too many people were there.
Yeah.
Yes, they looked. That was a really dense crowd.
Yeah.
I just don't know about this. Imagine if you were like 13 or 14, you're playing around at a playground with fire, and you accidentally burn down the neighborhood, right? Mm-hmm. Real bad, okay? Then shit gets back to normal. A year later, you've done your probation, you've apologized publicly to the neighborhood. Are you going to start playing with fire again? I don't know. That's just me personally. I wouldn't.
That's why criminals go back to jail.
I don't know. I mean, they've have the respect they are showing, Pat, is that sports arenas and movie theaters have remained closed. So that's like a little bit trying to keep some things that are really high spread areas closed. But yeah, I mean,
Pat, that famous surfer lady who got her leg bitten off by a shark went right back out to surfing.
Right.
Yes,
and I
but
think
that was her leg,
world's
Mark. If she had been biting off other people's legs, right? If she had, then she wouldn't go back out there.
You're saying people will consciously realize that they're a missile themselves.
I'm saying, hey, China.
No.
And you weird-ass wet markets. Maybe take
Right.
a couple plays off.
Those that is an issue. I do think it's more like the shark than the setting your house on fire, though. Like SARS and the flu are just the new sharks.
Just trying to take an example from my own life.
Well, yeah, but I like it. I like it, but I think the shark is apt right here. So yeah, I mean, basically, sports arenas and movie theaters have remained closed. They're trying to combat it in some ways, Pat. And if we do that in America, that wouldn't be so bad because we could still televise games at with no audiences, live audiences, and really.
You guys get that China is the shark here, right?
Well, right. They're one of the big shark nurseries, right? I mean, we have flu too, so it's like SARS and flu.
Yeah, no, everyone's the world's the shark at this point. I mean, outside of your house is the shark at this point because it's everywhere.
Yeah. Here in
Right,
Austin,
at
we
this moment
observe
in
bats
time,
safely from the ground as they fly out from a bridge at sunset. We don't eat them at wet markets.
Well, it's looking like it might be pangolin now.
Yeah, it's
They
pangolin.
said bats at first,
That's
but now
fine.
it's pangolin looking.
And
which
wet
is like
markets
a
are
Chinese
all over the
armadillo.
world.
No one knows what it came from, to be quite honest.
The
Right,
wet market
it's still not confirmed.
China.
Just not
You
a
know it came
lab
from
is what
China.
they say. Most likely from one of those wet markets. It's not completely.
Isn't the
sure.
Seattle fish market like that famous? Isn't that considered a fucking wet market? That
Well,
that
I don't
Seattle...
think it has live animals though. Like
Fish are
those
definitely
things.
alive.
Yeah.
Not the ones at the fish market. The ones.
I know
at the
America
Seattle market.
does have some wet markets out there.
yeah, but like a fish is safe. A fish is like an apple. You could literally take a bite out of it while it's alive. Just
There's
just pick it out of
wet
the ocean, take a
markets.
bite out.
That's
you're fine.
not
You ever had
true.
sushi? You ever had
That's not
sushi?
true. Yeah, a lot of sushi can kill you. Did you ever watch the Simpsons episode where he ate the poisonous sushi? Yeah,
The blowfish.
the puffer fish.
I'm not saying all fish, man. I'm just saying 99% of fish.
Yeah.
Well, wherever you get your fish, it took China about 4 months from the time they first confirmed their virus existed until the time that the lockdown ended. Who knows if that means anything like an indication for us, but you still get a picture of what it's going to look like. And like you guys said, those places are going to be packed. And some really good news, let's get to the new reported cases. China only had 39 new cases reported on Monday, even after that huge weekend. Even though they only reported 39 new cases, all the countries around them, like Hong Kong, are bracing for a new wave of infections just in case this fire does get out of control, Pat.
It's 39 new
thank you.
cases and 300,000 disappearances.
Right. We all
This
know
last
those
week.
numbers are. Yeah, we all know those numbers are super accurate.
A lot of fires.
And then in even more good news, some of us, hopefully, from the team will be submitting beer bottle chug videos to be considered by the great Pongzai of China to critique our performance on the beer bottle chugs. Donnie Does is setting up a new series, so cheers to good health to everybody in the world. Let's beat this virus together, figure out how to not make any more of them, right, Pat? And then chug beers together all the same.
We got some great chug
Absolutely.
submissions. We got some really good chug submissions today.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we're doing the chug right this weekend with
Right.
Big Ounces
More,
Chug
this
Challenge.
is
and us.
extra. This
And
isn't
then
to replace. It's
Donnie
additional.
and I might be chugging live on Zoom tomorrow night to do Pongzai's challenge, which is 3 different types of chugs back to back to back.
Love
it.
3 beers. Yeah.
And if
Yeah,
you
yeah.
DM'd us a chug video, we'll get in touch today, later in the day, about details for how we can incorporate you into the chugathon this week.
Yeah, and we want to see
Boat race, yeah.
we want to see current chugs. Like we don't want to see you throwing a 50-yard football in your freshman year at college. We want to see what you can do now.
Are you saying there's been some aged?
I think there's a few age submissions out
Do
there.
you think,
Do
Wes,
you care?
that that's
Do you care?
a skill
I
that
think it'd be funnier to have
you can lose?
like a bunch of people that suck at chugging on.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
The more the merrier. I don't care who's on the show. It doesn't have to be the elites.
Personal preference.
Yeah.
Wes wants to see a high level.
Even though I'm not going to do one.
Yeah, right. Tough standards there.
Yeah.
Love it. Well, yeah, and the thing would be tonight though, Mark, for Donnie.
Oh, right.
So-
Donnie and I might be on tonight.
Right. So
Right.
it's either going to be live tonight or it'll be released later. Who we don't. Do you know yet for sure?
He just DM'd the most recent DM. It keeps going back and forth. Is that he wants me to go on live tonight and do me versus Donnie in Zoom, and then Donnie wants to do him versus Dana in Zoom, and then like the winner of that or whatever will.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so
sweet.
we'll see. Yeah.
We'll see how it plays out. Keep your eyes peeled for that. And that's what's happening in China.
All right, guys. You know how we have been warning about how like there will probably be some negative ripple effects of this new societal life, indoors social distancing stuff, like the whole get a gun talk, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
Right, like some other things could happen. Well, it seems the first wave of evil might come from closer to home than we thought, like inside the actual home. The call is coming from within your house, ma'am. That type of thing, that horror thing. And that's because the most recent wave of awful shit in 2020 is a great increase in domestic violence around the world.
Sick. Awesome.
Really?
Yeah, it's like a big thing.
That's not good. Like the guy who's locking his spouse in the bathroom.
That, like, just all sorts of domestic violence. Mostly men against women, but just domestic violence.
Is it just a result of people just hanging out more? Is that just what it is?
That's one of the main theories,
I mean, it's
Wes.
got to be, right?
Can't go to the bar and blow off steam.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
Complaining
sucks.
about your spouse never leaving. Like, she never
Right.
goes anywhere. She never goes anywhere.
She can't go anywhere.
If I hung around you this much, I'd beat the shit out of you.
Nah.
I'm doing quite fine, but I think people predisposed to this are just
Domestic violence
it's just
sucks,
more.
so fuck these people.
Yeah, of course.
Of course, Pat. No, I'm this. Oh shit! I better rewrite my story. Didn't know
Yeah.
we were going that angle.
there you go.
Marianne Hester, a Bristol University sociologist who studies abusive relationships, said domestic violence goes up whenever families spend more time together, Wes, such as the Christmas time.
Aren't I
That
genius?
sucks. And summer vacation. So everyone's just beating on each other when they're trying to get the kids to sleep and they're trying to put the presents under the tree. I
Yep,
guess.
stress is high.
Yeah, apparently 911 and all variations of it in other countries, like phone systems, are just getting absolutely destroyed and riddled with calls of domestic abuse, and no one's prepared to deal with this because they're dealing with COVID-19. I guess hospitals are all full, and the cops are like busy, or like it's not safe for them to make house calls and stuff. So like they're just like really weren't prepared for this. Although they probably should have been. The United Nations.
This is just a terrifying and horrifying situation.
Yes. The United Nations called on Sunday for urgent action to combat the worldwide surge in domestic violence. They urge governments to put women's safety first as they respond to this pandemic as well, like in parallel. I mean, there's literally no escape during shelter at home. Like, unless you live in a huge mansion, like besides faking a bunch of shits a day, there's really no place for you to get away. Because the guy's not going to go in and beat you when you're pooping. Right? I mean...
Hopefully not.
I
I would imagine I don't know, if somebody's that much of a rageaholic, they might have
True. Wouldn't know.
few limits, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Term is beat the shit out of you.
Yeah, like yes, exactly. I'm gonna.
Good point.
I'm not waiting. Yeah, exactly. I'm not waiting for the shit to come out of you. I'm gonna beat it. I feel terrible for the women though, and the men who get physically or verbally abused, because it does go both ways, and that they're in their lockdown. But I do also have a prediction. I think there are going to be a lot of dead bodies, and it's going to be like, I don't know what happened to my wife or husband or boyfriend or girlfriend. They must have had corona and they died overnight. And in reality, it was like a reaction to domestic violence, aka a murder or self-defense or manslaughter.
Yeah,
that's
those
gonna happen.
those will come.
A lot of
But
those.
wouldn't you have like some
that's
sort of a wound or something if you
Well, like people sleep. People go to sleep.
Well, that's a great point because, okay, so I'm a huge true crime junkie. You know, like I love the Datelines, I love the podcast, whatever. I listen to it all, I consume it all. I'd say like 70, this is just an off the top number, 70% of the time when someone discovers that someone's missing, it's because they didn't show up to work, right? But like now...
That's what I'm saying. You could have a dead body in your house for like a month.
I bet
2
there's
months, 3
a lot of murders happening right now. Yeah,
Yeah, but then your house is gonna smell. I mean, no one.
Yeah,
can,
but
no
you're
one
not
can
getting
handle
beat
that
on.
smell
Like
for a month.
You have more time to get rid of the body.
Oh, you're saying that you think that people who are being battered will.
I don't think
not
this is
the
the
other
other
way
way.
around.
I think both will happen. Will I think they're going to need to come up with like a new legal way to deal with coronavirus deaths in the home. I also really feel bad for the child abuse that's going on because that's increasing as well. That shit is awful. Like the kid who was just trying to play Xbox and his mom had the blood ceremony that we covered and one of her friends at the house and they all surrounded him in a circle and one of her friends bit her son in the face.
Oh yeah.
That shit's at an all-time high, which is terrible. And also the more common child abuse too, like you better shut your kid up or I will because I'm drunk and I'm a horrible person. You know like the shitty drug addict boyfriend or shitty drug addict stepdad abuse that I'm talking about.
Well, that's not good.
You better shut your kid up. That's not my kid because the fucking kids can't leave the house and they're defenseless. I should have given this part to you, Wes, but Refuge, the UK's largest domestic abuse charity, said on Monday that calls to its helpline have risen by 25% and hits on the website increased 150%.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Christ.
and BBC News Television, that's in the UK. BBC News Television host Victoria Derbyshire. Thank you, Andrew Parker. Derbyshire. Had Refuge's telephone number written on her hand, like on the palm of her hand on Monday morning's show on BBC One that millions tuned into. And she said, I'd written the number on my hand to tweet a photo of it at 7 a.m. this morning. I left it on my skin in case it could be help to any of the millions watching at the 9 a.m. on BBC One. Also, it was probably a message to her abuser at home that she wasn't scared anymore.
I got an idea.
Right?
I got an idea. So
I made that last part up. I think she was just doing a good thing.
People that had coronavirus and recovered, right? Like, because if you recovered, you may have developed some sort of immunity to it. There's got to be a group of larger dudes, big boys. I'm talking bodybuilder types.
Oh, for sure.
Recovered from coronavirus that should start squads.
Well, there was actually Pat
biker gangs,
military guys were requesting to get coronavirus so that they could be then the first responders.
Right. But there should also be a squad to stop domestic abuse and violence.
Biker gangs do this for against pedophiles and domestic violence. They already do this, so it would be like a biker gang.
They're like what are they called? Angels, something angels.
Yeah, but a lot of them. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know. They're named Terry, I think.
Yeah, sure. Anyway, stay safe. Everyone stay inside. Remember, if you're getting beaten severely, even monsters go to sleep. It's terrible times, and I'm not suggesting anyone kill anyone. I'm just saying maybe he had an underlying condition.
Are you sure? That sounds like the second time you've suggested that.
I'm just saying maybe he had an underlying condition, Will.
It's a real weird and tough segment.
Mark's like, now's the time, everyone.
Mark was pretty fired up.
I'm not saying if he like tripped you once. I'm saying if you're getting like if you're getting black eyes every day, he goes to sleep.
Right.
Everybody sleeps. That's all we're saying.
That's all I'm saying.
You know his favorite kind of booze.
All right, that was that one. I got through it.
Antifreeze. All right, guys, it's become real cool to champion the stay-at-home movement to combat coronavirus. It's real hip. It's the in thing to do. Mm-hmm. But much like my participation in my school's 8th grade Just Say No campaign, not everyone is practicing what they preach. And that includes Nigerian actress Funke Akindele-Bello, who, by the way, this woman has 10.3 million Instagram followers.
Damn.
She's a force to be reckoned with.
Wow.
She's been arrested after she hosted a birthday party for her husband over the weekend while the country of Nigeria is on lockdown. See, problem is, Funke fronted a stay-at-home campaign put on by Dettol Nigeria to raise awareness about proper hygiene and social distancing. Then she went through a rager.
Mm-hmm.
That's like when you have, again, back to like the domestic battery issue, like when you have when you're like in charge of a domestic violence group for recovering people, and it turns out you yourself are an abuser.
Yeah, or you're a Catholic priest.
Yeah, Cub Scout
right,
troop
priest,
leader.
Cub Scouts. Yeah, a lot of good examples there.
Yeah.
Yeah, or it's like, just worse than what the soccer player did.
The
way
soccer
worse.
player wasn't bad, bro.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad.
Yeah.
He brought her over.
Yeah. That's fine.
She fucked up.
She
Yeah,
fucked
she
up.
did.
Let's shame the prostitutes. On Saturday, Funke must have had a few too many palm wines. By the way, that's the number one favorite drink in Nigeria. Fun fact there. Because she decided to go live on her Instagram, showing everyone at the party turning up while they were locked down. And she and her husband were arrested on Monday. So pretty shitty,
How many
right?
people at the party?
Well, here's the thing. So she got arrested, but then she took to Instagram to defend herself yesterday and indicated that the people in the video and at the party were members of her production crew. See, she owns a bunch of movie studios. And, they were all in self-quarantine with her. So it was like they just have a larger property, like
How
a
many
large
people,
property.
though?
I think it was like 15 to 30. It's a lot of people. But the idea is like they're all stuck in this movie studio together.
Right.
So it looked
the
like
idea
a party.
is let's have an orgy for the entire time.
Yes. I don't think it went there. But
Sausage Castle style.
I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
Ultimately, it's not that bad because they were all on self-quarantine. It just seemed worse than it was. But
Yeah, and none of those people leave ever, like Wes did, to go fly a drone in the park today. Right.
Yeah, I took my son
30
to fly a drone 30 feet away from people.
Yeah. None of those
If you
30
have
people leave
30
the house, the compound.
If you have 30 people locked in the same house for 4 months, I mean,
it's like a compound. It's like a studio.
Yeah, but they all leave
Sure.
the compound.
I
Too
don't
many-
know,
Too many
guys.
people close to each other.
also
Ohio,
30
man.
people together. Like, you telling me that doesn't get frisky after, like,
Yeah, there's
the
some,
amount-
there's
it's
some,
the
amount-
there's some
the amount-
trades.
Absolutely.
There's a lot
the
of
amount
trading.
of people, it's not. 30 is too many. It doesn't matter if they're all friends or they all live near each other. You can't have 30 people in the same room.
If they're all on lockdown. All right, guys, an Ohio man with at least 7 face tattoos that include the words God's gift under his eyelids and a dollar sign on the corner of his left eye where a teardrop would be, was arrested after he live streamed a big-ass party that was taking place on the streets of Cincinnati on Friday night. So 25-year-old Rashawn Davis said repeatedly in this live stream video, "This is how we do in my city. We don't give a fuck about the coronavirus. This is how we celebrate our coronavirus, bitch." He just kept saying that. He just kept saying, "This is how we celebrate our coronavirus, and we don't give a fuck, bitch."
Cincinnati.
In
Why are you-
Cincinnati, Ohio.
Why are you celebrating the coronavirus?
Bro, it was It was like a block party they were having. Like people.
Why
were
didn't he
dancing
just
on
say,
it.
this is how we ignore the coronavirus?
Yeah, no, I know. He was. Well, look.
It's really,
25-year-old
that's
Rashawn-
really rubbing salt in the wound of the social
Well, people,
distance.
I mean, people
anti-social
are
distance.
still people
Yeah.
are still partying.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
don't like drop the name of the thing you're disrespecting.
Right.
Kids are forming bike gangs in Florida. I've seen videos. There's
Which Wes hates because
tons of
teenagers is his one of.
But I did see
unsupervised
a positive stat.
Biggest
Like
fear.
86%
Yes.
of Americans or something are staying home. So it's like it's
Well,
a
yeah.
low percentage
Anyway,
overall.
this guy live streamed it. Police came and saw the video, I guess, and then picked him up on Saturday afternoon and charged him with a misdemeanor for disobeying the stay-at-home order. And Cincinnati police are recommending a very high bond or none at all until Davis can appear before a judge because of his quote
Whoa.
complete
Wow.
disregard for public safety.
Wow.
Wow.
Don't throw any more parties.
They Duterte his ass.
Yeah, they do.
They really did. They're like, you're going to stay in jail where you're probably going to catch coronavirus.
Yeah.
I'm not one to judge a book by his cover, but this book definitely sucks. The Chicago mayor set a great example for her city as she went to get a haircut over the weekend. This is even though that barbers and hairstylists are shut down because they're not essential businesses under the state's stay-at-home order. So when faced with criticism, Mayor Lightfoot said that she's the face of the city, and the woman who cut her hair wore a mask, saying, quote, "I'm a person who takes my personal hygiene very seriously. As I said, I felt I needed to get a haircut. I'm not able to do that myself, so I got a haircut. You want to talk more about that?"
Yes.
Unapologetic.
Problem is, guys, back on March 30th, she posted a hilarious PSA to her Twitter that features her talking on the phone with friends and encouraging them to follow the stay-at-home order. And in the video, her friend Debbie says to her over the phone that she wants to leave the house to get her hair done, to which the mayor responds, "Debbie, getting your roots done is not essential."
True.
So she just is a complete hypocrite.
Complete and total hypocrite.
I got another hypocrite mayor for you, Pat. If you want.
Who's that?
The mayor, I believe, of Raleigh, North Carolina. Listeners DM'd us. She posted a thing about which was good. She was like, support your local restaurants like my family is this weekend, and like on Saturday they went out and got like a shitload of fucking food in the big silver catered things, and they brought it back home, and they showed off pictures of the family smiling and eating local food on the nice kitchen counter. But on the kitchen counter was a weed pen, and weed is illegal in Raleigh, North Carolina. So the mayor of North Carolina and her whole family was smoking from a THC pen. It looked like.
I mean, who's not these days?
Of course,
Can't blame him.
Right.
Anyway, guys, on Monday morning, the mayor launched the quote, "We are not playing" initiative in conjunction with all the Chicago sports teams in an effort to remind people that they're not playing when it comes to staying home. The campaign's message
Unless
is we're
you
not
need a
playing.
haircut.
So neither should you, unless you need a fucking haircut.
unless it's at Play It Again Clips.
Exactly. I'm going to be real honest, guys, about this woman's haircut. It's nothing that a buzzer with a number 6 guard couldn't have done. It's a terrible haircut. It looks like shit. There's nothing special about it. It literally just looks like hair growing at the same length out of her head on all sides. No trim. It's just really bad.
Does it have highlights at all?
Nope. It's just an old lady's hair.
It was not essential.
Not essential.
Maybe she gets her weed from her hair lady. Who knows?
Maybe she's banging her hair lady.
Yeah, maybe.
That's the only excuse.
Everybody's getting a little lonely during
Yeah.
the Corona lockdown.
Unless she's banging her hair lady, that's a stupid idea.
Yeah.
Stupid story.
Guys, I don't have to tell you that cigarettes are addicting. I know we all have been smokers or are currently smokers, and it's a hard habit to kick, especially when stress levels rise, like on lockdown because of a deadly global pandemic. I love my cigarettes more than I ever have. I smoke more now than probably ever, if I'm being honest. And
I've been tempted to smoke more than ever, but I've avoided buying the pack every time I've gone to the store.
There you go.
You guys got to quit.
Yeah.
I quit
But it's
recently.
but lockdown is made for cigarette smoking. I mean,
Yeah.
This is a time when if I did smoke cigs still, I would be ripping them back to back.
Yeah.
Yeah, but once you get past like a couple weeks, the dependency goes away. And Wes, I understand where you're coming from because you quit booze. Congratulations on that. But Pat, you got to quit.
I'm not going both.
Don't you turn the spotlight on me. We all got bad habits.
For sure.
Yeah, we all,
for sure.
We're all
None of
men
us are
vice.
saints.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm just looking out for your guys' health because it's like a lung thing with the COVID-19. I'm not trying to preach. I've been smoking cigarettes with you guys for 20 years. I'm just saying.
I'm just trying to keep
Not
the
a
fucking
good
wheels
time.
on over here.
You're absolutely right. We'll see.
Okay.
That means no. One French man who authorities are refusing to name to protect his family from his stupidity probably feels the same way I do, which is why he illegally broke stay-at-home orders, avoided police blockades on roads, and crossed into Spain on foot in search of cheap cigarettes. Before getting lost and had to be rescued by French mountain rescue services with a helicopter before he died of starvation and exhaustion. All for
Whoa,
cigarettes.
he died?
No, before he did.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Whoa.
He was in trouble, and they had to.
He was starving and freezing in the mountains
Yeah,
trying
they
to
had
get cigs?
They had to pluck his fiending ass out of the mountains.
Did he ever get the cigs? Did they take him to a cig store?
No, hopefully they gave him some cigs, but he was only slapped with a $146 fine for the whole thing for breaking quarantine for a helicopter ride.
That's 2 packs of cigs.
There's no way this guy was going for a pack of smokes. He was going for cartons because he was trying to fucking make some money.
There
He
you
was
go.
He was definitely going for cheap cigarettes. It wasn't like he was just going for a pack.
He could have gotten a pack back in France.
That I was confused there too. Thank you, Pat. Thank you.
Why does he have to hike across mountains to
Right,
get
that's
cigarettes?
I don't know. I mean, maybe he's
got some time on his hands.
Yeah.
He promised his girl he quit, so he's like, I'm going on a hike.
He's got some
for like a week, though.
Yeah,
I
for a
mean, like
week.
it
Yeah.
doesn't sound like it's like a couple hour thing.
Imagine hiking back. That 3.5-day hike back, smoking the whole way back is pretty sweet.
Yeah. Well, he abandoned his car on the side of the road once he
How
saw
many
the police.
cigs do you think?
He grabbed his bag. He's not enough. That's the
He goes through 10 packs
Yeah.
on the walk home.
yeah.
He has to walk right back because he's
Yeah.
out of cigs.
Someone was smoking in the hike. Not me.
Yeah, you really wanted them. And finally, countries are really starting to hand out fines for this shit. In the U.S., in Hawaii, this is one of the larger fines that I've heard out. You can get a $5,000 fine and up to a year in prison if you travel between the islands and don't self-quarantine for 2 weeks after your travel. So if they catch you, if you went from like Maui to Honolulu or whatever, if you don't quarantine, they find you out. $5,000 fine, up to a year in prison.
So locals in Hawaii just turned into pirates.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I guess
they're smuggling themselves.
They're strict about their islands out there.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And just by the way, if you're just curious, the country with the most smokers, percentage-wise, what do you guys think it is?
Italy.
Nope.
France.
No idea.
China?
It is Greece with 42.65% of the population. The U.S. is 17.25. So Greece, heavy smokers.
Whoa!
Yeah.
What's the top countries there? You know,
Kiribati it's like an island in the South Pacific. The over half of people, 52.4% percent of people smoke. the largest civil country you've heard of is Greece with 42.65.
Where's Italy at? Or is it there in the top?
I didn't see it.
Never mind.
Yeah,
strong percent.
it's not in the top 10.
That island sounds awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. It's not a lot of people there. It's like 115,000 people, and over half of them smoke. So, that's that story, guys. Oh, yeah, let me get to my ad read. Hang on, sorry. Hey, guys, I bet this guy's muscles are exhausted from all that hiking for cigarettes, and you know what he could use?
They are.
Some Omax cryo-freeze treatment. It's not just for short-term pain. Living with chronic pain is the worst. It's more than a feeling of discomfort. It can affect your whole life. Many of our listeners probably have some type of pain that has prevented them from relaxing and sleeping or stopped them from exercising. Perhaps it's been ongoing for a few weeks now and hasn't improved with any treatments that you've tried. I personally tore my ACL my freshman year at college after getting hammered and jumping over some people sitting on a sidewalk, having a peaceful conversation. Not my finest moment, but the pain comes and goes, and it does prevent me from looking my best and exercising. Enter Omax Health. If you're looking to get rid of nagging muscle and joint pain immediately while providing long-lasting recovery, then you need to try the natural breakthrough pain relief solution, cryo-free CBD roll-on developed by Omax Health. This non-prescription triple-action relief roll-on is specially formulated to block pain receptors, reduce inflammation, and improve muscle and joint flexibility. Best part is this 100% natural CBD-powered remedy works with the magic within 10 minutes of application, and relief lasts up to 8 hours, much longer than the over-the-counter products. It works fantastic. They sent us some samples. So much better than Icy Hot when it almost unbearable for my back pain, in my opinion. The stuff is superior in all aspects and has 8 more pain relief ingredients. Right now, Omax Health is offering our listeners 20% off a full bottle of cryo-free CBD pain relief roll-on. Yeah, great deal. Plus free shipping. The discount also applies toward any product statewide, so just go to omaxhealth.com today and enter code FACTOR. That's omaxhealth.com, O-M-A-X health.com, and enter code FACTOR for 20% off cryo-free statewide. See why athletes like PGA professional Kyle Stanley use this stuff, because it works. 95% 5-star reviews. That's insanely high, so get yours today. Enter code FACTOR at checkout.
Nice. All right, let's move it over to a little animal update. And so a quick follow-up from yesterday. Although humans can give coronavirus to felines of all sizes, like the tigers that Mark covered yesterday at the Bronx Zoo, felines cannot give it to us humans. So nothing to worry about there, but try not to cough all over your cat if you get sick. Domesticated cats almost never catch coronavirus, but apparently they could. So
I'll let you know.
Yeah, Mark, watch out. But on to the matter at hand in this animal corner here. Ying Ying and Lily, 2 pandas at the Ocean Park Zoo in Hong Kong, have been living together for 10 years in hopes that they will start a family together. But sadly, they've never worked up the courage to spark their romantic relationship after all that time. 10 years.
Friend zoned.
Big time. That's a huge 10 years in the friend zone.
She's like, I don't know. I'm kind of holding out hope that another panda comes for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm. Yep, pretty much.
Get my kid
pretty
freed.
Much. But, fellas, thanks to the coronavirus, it just so happens that the park has been closed since January. And now it's April. And spring has sprung. And Ying Ying started taking more baths in the water alone. And then Li Li started spraying his man scent all over the cage more than he ever had before. And bang, on Monday, they successfully mated for the first time ever.
Wow.
Full on panda sex.
What a success story.
So they were just not exhibitionists. They needed a little bit more privacy.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. I think that Mark was onto something there. I think Ying Ying, she thinks maybe she's a little too hot to trot for Li Li. Didn't want to show the people she was really into him. But
no, this is a situation where the pandas got word of what was going on, which is a potential apocalypse scenario. And the female panda was like, fuck it. This is probably my last shot to get a panda bone thrown in me. So, all right, you have your way with me.
That could be it.
Good
that
theory.
could be it. For 10 years, these poor pandas were too crowded by the people to have a chance to work up to mating.
Or too
in this
proud.
story,
Or too proud, Will.
well, maybe. They just didn't want to do it in front of the people. And this story just melts your heart. So happy for the lovely couple that they could finally have a baby anytime in the next year if they keep up their new habits. And really, this is just what the world needed at this moment. Lots of people, like we were saying, stuck alone, not banging somebody maybe for a little while. And at least you can rest easy knowing that Ying Ying and Li Li finally got their chance to make it happen.
Yeah, there you go. That's a great story. And if you're like one of the few people stuck in the absolute worst shelter-at-home scenario possible, where you're with a girl you like and you're in the friend zone somehow, tell her this story.
Right, time to make a move. Time to if that
Fucking
situation
pandas,
exists,
Yeah.
surely you've had sex.
If you're
by
in love
now,
with
but-
your roommate,
Yeah, you might want to get the printer out. Print this article out.
yeah.
Yep. Just
Put it on
staple it.
paper.
Leave it on the breakfast nook. Also, a little side note: I found a mating pair of ruddy ducks, which is a beautiful duck. Going on an appropriately socially distanced jog in my neighborhood. So there's all kinds of nature out there right now. My dad told me he saw 2 foxes together at the edge of a pond the other day, which is extremely rare. All kinds of nature to see right now if you are in a place where you can step outside for a little bit and check it out. And rest easy, Ling Ling, Ying Ying, or Ying Ying, Li Li, having sex.
How
Don't
long
worry
did
about
you
it.
stop
love
to
it.
watch the ducks fuck?
The ducks were not fucking. I watched them diving and eating. That's what I did. Stop for a couple minutes.
I watched
Took a video.
Yeah, I watched a squirrel in my front yard for like 10 minutes the other day, just searching for nuts. It was extremely relaxing.
Because they're so they're so chilled out outside right now because there's no people around. There's no noises and shit.
Yeah.
They're kicking butt. I had a cardinal outside eating
There you go.
bird food. It was sweet. Good looking cardinal. All right, guys, this is a story that really only impacts Hard Factor Wes, the only man on Hard Factor that knows his boys can swim, although a local sperm bank told me mine were top notch about 10 years ago when I went to make a quick buck when times were tough and then ghosted them before I finished all the blood tests.
I've had tests
So,
done and I know my counts are high.
Yeah. They were like, you have great sperm. Do you want to come back and finish this? And I was like, I'm so sorry.
Did you never go through with it?
Yeah, I don't feel good about any of it, Will. But no, I didn't go through with it at all.
Mark doesn't answer a few specific phone numbers.
Or emails. Might have created a new email address. They think I'm dead until today. In New Zealand, Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern said, "You'll be pleased to know that we consider both the Tooth Fairy and the Easter Bunny to be essential workers." So this is for the kids.
What, really?
Yeah. She said it at a news conference Monday, but as you can imagine, this time, of course, they're going to be potentially quite busy at home with their families as well as their own bunnies. So she's having a little fun with the kids here, Will. It's like
To
for
answer
the
your
kids
really-
to hear this.
It's like when the news covers NORAD where the Santa sleigh is. You
Right.
know, it's-
Oh, I thought she meant like the people that go to the malls are allowed to go.
She was hoping that children were watching the news story, and she wanted to let the children know, hey, the Easter Bunny is doing fine as well as the Tooth Fairy. They're doing their job still.
Yeah.
You know, if I was
Yeah.
a kid, I would think that means I can go take a picture with the Easter Bunny and go to the mall and
That's a great point.
Buy a toy.
It's a great point. Then you have to explain to them, the whole pandemic and why you can't do
You
that.
kind of thought that as an adult, Will, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. As a parent, if I had a child, I would think the same thing. I'd be like, "Oh, Easter Bunny, he's essential. Okay, we're good."
Yeah, let's go. She went on to say, so I say to the children of New Zealand, if the Easter Bunny doesn't make it to your household, we have to understand that it's a bit difficult at the moment perhaps for the bunny to get everywhere. So again, there's another layer to this lie.
So
the
what?
the Easter Bunny's an essential worker, and he's helping save lives, and so is the Tooth
Being
Fairy.
a fucking Easter Bunny apologist at the same time.
Yeah, so
She's setting parents up for a difficult conversation.
she sure is. New Zealand, like
Shut
most,
up about it.
Yeah,
Yeah, right?
Let
Just
us deal with
shut-
it on.
just
Let us deal with it on our own timetable.
Exactly. Why the fuck is she forcing the issue?
Right? Yeah. Now I gotta have a conversation about this shit. And I'm working from home today. It's a Monday. I'm behind on my emails. New Zealand.
Now I gotta explain the Easter Bunny.
Honey, do you want to feel this one? You turn on the TV, then there's
Right,
domestic
exactly.
violence. It's a bad cycle. All right. New Zealand, like most places, is on a nationwide lockdown. But this raises an interesting question, like, how do you keep your kids happy and joyful during this awful time? Like, what if this comes back in the fall and is around during Christmas? Santa Claus, right? Like, everyone's just going to have to dress up like Santa Claus in their homes this year. We were at our friend's 2-year-old birthday party via Zoom this weekend to sing him happy birthday. Well, some of us were. Some didn't show up. But kids are having Zoom birthday parties now. Like, it's not great for the kids.
I slept through it. Okay, I slept through it. I'm sorry.
Wes?
It was 5
I
p.m.
completely forgot. To be honest with you.
Okay, so like that's what's happening to these kids. Half the people aren't showing up to their Zoom birthday parties.
Right.
What are you doing about all this, Wes? Has your parenting style changed? This might be your year to spill the beans about Santa Claus. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, the only reason he even says he somewhat believes is because he knows he gets more presents that way.
Okay.
But
He's told you that?
Oh
Like-
yeah, he obviously doesn't believe. He's 4th grade. So no, I mean, right? It's there's nothing to do. Like we've gone on walks. You can only go on so many fucking walks. You can't really go anywhere. A lot of fucking TV. Honestly, a lot of fucking movies.
Kids are curious, right? Is he asking questions like, "What is this?"
No, I always check in with him. I make sure to check in with him, every other day. Be like, hey man, you doing okay? Is this scary for you? That kind of stuff. He's fucking totally fine with it. He's like happy to be out of school, just doing whatever the fuck he wants.
Just gets
honestly.
to chill at home.
Yeah.
Quicker to the video games after you're done with class.
He's
So
okay.
far, so good.
So far, so good. Yeah.
Hopefully, that's going with most parents.
Yeah.
By the way, that story was brought to you by Predict It. If you guys have a gambling itch and you can't get to the casino and you can't bet on sports, why don't you come on over where the water's real nice and start betting on the news with the Hard Factor boys. We will even give you a free $20 if you just go to promo URL, no promo code needed. Just go to www.predictit.org/promo/hardfactor20 and create an account in a few minutes. Then deposit at least $20. Then boom, that's a free $20 on the house, no strings attached. Just turn that into more money, like I did on the Wisconsin market yesterday. We have to talk about Wisconsin a bit, guys, just in general.
Wisconsin. Wow.
Yeah. Will and Wes were in on the no. The primary will not be postponed from pretty much the beginning. Wes did a little bit of flip flopping.
We both didn't ride it all the way through. I
lost money.
I rode it a little longer than Wes and ended up gaining money on it, but it got scary because
when did you sell, Will?
I sold most of it a couple days ago after the governor said it would go through, and then you guys were like, no, it's still going to go offside. So I sold it for like double there. That was the majority of my stock, and then I sold the rest of it this morning for basically no change. So I had already made a profit, and then just kind of got out. But I should have just stayed in because it turns out they're probably going to go through.
These psychopaths in
And Pat
Wisconsin.
and I were on yes. Yeah, Pat, how'd you do on the market?
I woke up late today, so I could have made money because I was deep in it, but I didn't. I
You
wasn't
could have
watching
sold
the
it like
market today.
70 about.
Yeah.
or so.
So here's what happened today. If you missed it, essentially, the mayor? I'm sorry, the governor.
The governor.
They said 100% this is not happening, and then a federal judge said, "Oh, it's happening," which is like the fourth flip flop on whether it was happening or not.
Right.
And it's fucking happening today, apparently.
So the governor signed an executive order after the federal judge, Pat. There was another layer to it after that. The governor then signed an executive order on Monday afternoon saying, no, it's not happening. And the stock went up to about 75 cents. I sold it at, that's the yes. I sold it at 70 cents and I bought at 30. So I more than doubled up. We were DMing with a lot of listeners who were sending us updates, live updates, which we appreciate.
Yeah.
One
Luckily,
guy-
most people made money on this.
Right.
Yeah.
But then the Supreme Court got their hands on it at night. It wasn't one federal judge. It was 7, Pat. One recused himself. The vote was 4-2 down party lines to overturn the governor's executive order and proceed with the primary, which they will, it looks like, because it was at 95 cents that they will as of the time.
Which, of course, guys, the difference between this primary is this is a Democratic primary only, unlike other primaries that were both parties, right?
No. So the reason the GOP voted 4-2 to continue with the primary is because they want to get some judges in, and there are a lot of not just presidential or Democrat like presidential candidates, but there's a lot of local candidates that need to be in position by April 20th. There's this, I think, a Supreme Court judge or a very
so they think they're going to get all those elections. And
there's
so
one particular judge spot they want. So like it's absolutely they want.
And they left it up to the judges to decide.
They don't give a shit about
I was mistaken.
They don't give a shit about the presidential election because they know Trump's going to get it. It's other elections that they really are interested in. So they got their way. And hopefully everyone's safe in Wisconsin because those
good to be the judge,
bastards,
right?
Those bastards are making you vote. Anyways, you can make money like I did by going to www.predictit.org/promo/hardfactor20, create an account, deposit at least $20, and get that free $20.
All right, guys. With a run on toilet paper and people shitting in their own toilets almost exclusively, the era of the bidet is upon us.
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
Some say bidet. I beg to differ. Much like the character in the film The Big Short, the characters who bet on the housing market to fail when it was at its peak, the brass at bidet company Tushy were betting on a scenario just like what's happening right now to happen, which is, I don't know, America's going to run out of toilet paper. And since the coronavirus has started, Tushy has seen a 10x demand in their sales of bidets or asshole washers, as I like to call them.
But we're not going to run out of toilet paper, though.
No.
Some say.
I don't know, Will. My
we're not.
Amazon deliveries stopped for just toilet paper. I'm getting all the other shit, but
Really?
luckily I had a supply. You guys were all laughing at me, but I'm not getting toilet paper this month from Amazon.
I mean, I don't.
I'm camping
it's
out
true,
at
guys.
Costco tomorrow morning.
Yep, and it's not just startups with the vision of Americans being able to engage in spontaneous oral sex without a trip to the bathroom for a spot check that are winning. Established companies like Kohler are seeing the benefits as well. See, bidet sales are definitely having their moment, said Kohler co-marketing manager Nicole Alice. The sales of the Kohler's bidet seats are up 8 times since March 2019. So these things are flying off the fucking shelves right now.
I got a
How many units is that?
It's a lot of units. Well, I think they probably sold 12 to 16 last year. So what's 8 times
Right,
that?
exactly. I was like, it's a pretty small volume, I'm assuming.
I've got a phenomenal hose to whatever the connects to the hose, the faucet that has like 20 different settings outside. I'm just gonna start enjoying spraying my.
Just gonna go in the backyard and just spray the shit out of your butt.
A particular area where I just spray my asshole out.
It could be a great couples activity too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Google searches for bidets.
Yeah, but
in the
what if
US.
she misses with the high pressure hose?
That's true.
You got to trust her to pick the right setting because if she switches to the high pressure,
You might find out something about yourself.
I bought the double wide cord to the hose and the double expensive. Like this thing really fucking.
A lot could go
slams.
wrong with
Yeah.
that. Just so you know.
You could chip
Honestly,
a tooth.
if she does miss, you can't blame her because essentially it's like the carnival game where you're trying to shoot the water hose at the target. That's like what it's like when you're washing out your spouse's genitals. You see that ball sack and you just want to hit it with the
very tempting,
stream.
yeah.
So it's hard. I mean, it's just like human nature. So
Guaranteed, it would be just like it would just be like you hitting the floor and her laughing.
You'd have to cup at all times.
It's a good trust test, that one.
Yeah, but honestly, like they're her balls too now. Because if you guys ever want children, you know what I mean. She's got to protect those.
Well, that might be a problem then, Pat. Like you might go for the balls on purpose, depending on the
Spray him
answer.
with the high pressure hose. Then
Yeah.
So we're rethinking the whole thing, guys. This is not a couples activity. This is a solo practitioner situation. If
Right.
you're going to wash your butthole out in the backyard or front yard, depending on where you live. Look, Google searches for bidets in the U.S. Used to be practically non-existent, but searches for bidets peaked around March 14th as consumers packed stores to stock up for the upcoming pandemic. That's when the toilet paper run of 2020 was at its high. Literally, the word bidet has never been searched more, according to Google Trends. Again, guys, it is bidet. Okay, it is bidet. But I think that a bidet is a whole thing. It's a whole apparatus. Okay, and these things are fucking add-ons to your toilet. I think there should be a distinction.
Again, Pat, you think that they spelled it the same way, and there's no differentiation except for sometimes when you read it, you think it's a part of the machine instead of the whole machine, even though it's spelled the exact same way.
Thank you for explaining that, Mark.
Okay,
are you guys ready for the bidet revolution?
Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
I don't know. I'm sticking with toilet paper. I don't have a problem with toilet paper.
Yeah, you're gonna need toilet paper to wipe it anyway. You're not gonna just walk around with a dripping ass.
Yeah,
I mean, you'd still have to buy toilet paper.
Yeah, you do.
I'm so go with the flow now that the world's collapsing. Like, whatever. Yeah, fucking shoot water up my ass. I don't give a shit.
There you go.
Who cares?
And
what else?
This is an extra expense. I don't need it.
Hard factor. Thank you guys so much for listening. Seriously, guys, hang in there. I know this week is going to be hard. It's going to be a tough week. This is week 3, as Will said, since we've been in the straight lockdown, turn-up situation. But hang in there. Check on your neighbors. Check on your friends. We're going to be here for week 4, excuse me. We're going to be here for you every day, giving you the news. If you're feeling shitty, DM us. We got time on our hands. We'll chat with you. But really, look out for your fellow man right now. Everyone's going through it. Big shout out to the healthcare workers. Big shout out to the workers in the essential businesses, grocery stores, the people that are keeping your wheels on your car, so to speak. You got to give them a proper. Again, if you guys send us chugging videos, dope. We will get back to you later on today about how we're exactly going to be doing the competition this coming weekend for a live stream.
Are you teasing the interview? Are we allowed to?
Yeah. Oh, also on tomorrow's Hard Factor, we are going to have the founder of McAfee Antivirus, noted expatriate, gun enthusiast, former presidential candidate, John McAfee on the show. So stay tuned for that because it's going to be fucking nuts. What else was I going to say? 5-star reviews. Get your 5-star reviews in. It's on iTunes. You can literally say anything you want as long as it's a 5-star review. We'll read it on air. Probably What the Fuck Wednesday or Florida Man Friday. By the way, tomorrow is What the Fuck Wednesday. So during the McAfee interview or on either side of it, we're going to be covering the weirdest stories. That's the show that you program. So if there's any really interesting news stories, weird shit that you want us to cover, you program the show. Make sure to DM us at Hard Factor News or DM us at Barstool Newsnet, and we will take care and have a great fucking day.